chowder or a soup today because as college students it's really easy to make on a stovetop, but it can also be easy for other people who don't have access to a lot of kitchen supplies. No meat products or anything used in this whole recipe. Very good for our environment, and it's also vegan and gluten-free, so a lot of good components for people who have allergies. It's also very versatile, so if you don't like a lot of vegetables, you can choose which vegetables you do like and add those. Specifically, it's very sustainable. We use a lot of vegetables. Those are good for you. We chose some frozen options, but if you would prefer to go to a farmer's market, you can buy local vegetables. And that's also very healthy and has a lot of the nutrients that you would want. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is grease up the pan a little bit with just some olive oil. And let the oil get hot. So now that has gotten hot, we're going to add about a cup of onion. You can get onion from plenty of places. It doesn't have to be organic, but obviously that's a nice option if you have it. We add a little bit of garlic, and the garlic is just about flavor, so that's personal preference, what you have in your own home. You can add other spices besides garlic. And then we're going to add the corn. So the bag has 5 cups in it, which is the amount of corn that we need. It's organic, and it's frozen, so if you don't have access to Whole Foods or organic corn, you can get the frozen corn from all over the place. And canned or frozen, they both are able to preserve the natural goodness that comes in these vegetables so that you still get the health benefits. So we've let our corn cook a little bit. It's gotten a little bit softer and completely defrosted. So now we're going to add our broth. We're going to add half of the broth that we're using. And we're going to let that cook. Go. Mix that up. So the broth we got from Trader Joe's. It is also organic. It's free-range chicken broth. But once again, broth can come from a lot of different places. You can also use bouillon cubes if that is the most economically feasible way for you to get broth. And they work basically the same way, even if they're not quite as nutritious. Now that it's boiling, we're going to reduce the heat and then cover it and let it simmer for about 20 minutes or until the corn is tender. So now we've cooked the corn. The corn's been cooked down a little bit, it's a little more tender. And so according to the recipe at this point, we would put half of the mixture into a blender, blend that, and then return it to the pan. But because of restrictions that are likely going to be applicable to college students or to people who are on programs like SNAP, such as they just wouldn't have a blender, we've decided not to use a blender and just to make it more like a soup. So the next step then is to add the remaining broth. And then we've got the rest of the vegetables to add. So we've got green peppers. And then we also chose to add, which was not in the recipe, broccoli. We got this broccoli from Whole Foods, frozen. We got the peppers from Whole Foods, fresh. If you don't have access to a Whole Foods or maybe a Trader Joe's, you can find it frozen. You can also find canned broccoli. There are many other things that you could put into this soup. You could add beans, add a frozen vegetable melody, which would include things like carrots or hominy. So all these different ingredients can be added just to flavor and make whatever soup that you would like, and that can vary based on just what's available to you. Okay, so the last step in terms of ingredients added is just the flavoring. So we're gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon of regular pepper, and of salt. Just want to mix this in. And so now the soup is pretty much complete. It just all needs to get cooked through. Here we have our finished product. This is our corn and vegetable soup. So we had our vegetables, some green pepper, a full green pepper, onions, broccoli, and corn. That added up to about $7. And then we had some chicken broth in the fridge, but that would be an estimated $3. So this whole meal is about 6 servings, and it would cost about $10. We also used some spices, some cayenne pepper and salt and pepper. We had those in the kitchen. Those are easy to get, and a lot of people will have them already. If not, that'll add a few more dollars. In general, a very low cost meal to feed a lot of people, and it was a lot of fun to make. So it's very good to cook at home.